So it has absolutely been a minute since I have made a video talking about all the latest leaks and news with the new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day. But again, over the last couple weeks, there have been so many goddamn leaks that I just feel like I have to absolutely talk about. And I mean, the first one and the biggest one we're going to talk about is the report saying that Spider-Man Brand New Day will be marketed as a Hulk vs. Spider-Man movie. According to multiple insiders, Spider-Man Brand New Day will be marketed as a Spider-Man vs. Hulk movie. Mark Ruffalo was recently reported to reprise his role as Bruce Banner. The same reporter suggested a Savage Hulk would be positioned as the main antagonist of the film's promotion. On another post, it says, according to an attendee from Disney's merchandise show, a Savage Hulk will reportedly be a major antagonist in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Mark Ruffalo was recently reported as Bruce Banner, the Hulk, playing a major role in the film. Again, we all knew that this was coming. Over the last week, we have heard a ton of murmurs that Mark Ruffalo had been cast in the movie, and I think we were all like, what the hell is going on? Why is Mark Ruffalo being cast in the movie? And again, it's just so happened now that in the last couple days, it has basically been confirmed, it seems to be by multiple different reports, that Spider-Man Brand New Day will not just be a Spider-Man movie, but a Hulk movie. And I mean, when you think about it, some of us saw this coming. I mean, I talked about it like a year ago that really early talks, there was supposed to be Mark Ruffalo's Hulk in this movie, and he would be the big MCU character that would appear in a Spider-Man movie that we always see. Again, that is contracted. Sony, a part of Marvel's contract, require Marvel to include one major character in every one of their films. Iron Man was in the first one. You know, Samuel Jackson, freaking Nick Fury was in the second one, and Doctor Strange was in the third one. Again, I think a lot of people were really hoping it was going to be Daredevil in the fourth one, but Daredevil, I guess, just isn't a big enough character that, you know, has got Sony like jumping up for joy. So they clearly pushed for someone, and they got the Hulk. And I mean, there are a lot of reasons why Marvel are doing this, and first and foremost, we know that one of the biggest reasons Marvel are doing this is because they want to, you know, they're completely changing up the MCU and how the movies are going in the future, and they want to focus on their bigger characters because they know their lower characters in the moment are not bringing in any money, and all their movies are failing, and all their shows are failing. I mean, look at She-Hulk. It's failed, right? Ironheart is coming out. They've really shelved that show because they know it's going to be a failure. A lot of TV shows have failed. And then the movies, you had Miss Marvel, the Marvels like last year, right? Characters that just no one cares about at all. Unfortunately, you know, of course, that one failed. This year, the Thunderbolts, I mean, I just didn't have any reason to see the Thunderbolts, and I didn't want to see it. We now know that that movie's been a massive failure, and it's supposed to cost Marvel like $100 million. So yeah, we know now for the future going forward, they want to focus on their bigger characters, which makes sense. They're making a Fantastic Four movie. They're making 2 Avengers movies. It's been reported very early on that a Black Panther movie is in early production with Shuri returning, and we're supposed to be getting a new Black Panther in that one. Doctor Strange 3 is supposed to be in early development, another massive character, and now Spider-Man Brand New Day as well, which is supposed to be a Hulk movie, which, look, I'm a massive fan of Spider-Man. You can see it. I have freaking, where are they? 10? I've got 10 Funko Pops sitting right there of all the Spider-Man. Spider-Man is like my all-time pretty much favorite fictional character. I won this in the freaking claw machine the other day of Spider-Man hanging upside down, eating a hot dog. His head freaking bobbles. How cool is that? I mean, I live and breathe Spider-Man. But I've also really wanted a lot more Hulk content. I have made a ton of videos talking about that. I think they just have to do more Hulk stuff. I mean, if you were going to focus on the bigger characters, yeah, Fantastic Four and Spider-Man are a start. But then you need to focus on the other two biggest characters you've got in the X-Men / Wolverine and Hulk. And that's what they're doing. Again, the one I didn't mention that's in early production is X-Men, right? You got X-Men, Doctor Strange 3, Black Panther 3, probably Fantastic Four 2, Avengers 5, 6, rumors early production on 7, and Spider-Man Brand New Day. 8 of the biggest characters, basically, right? 8 of the biggest characters and teams that they've got. Then Hulk is the one that they need to do. And they don't officially, I don't think, have the full rights to make another Hulk movie, and it costs them too much to license him out. So it looks like they're like doing a Spider-Man times Hulk movie. So we'll have to see how it goes. I'm very interested for it. Again, it's reported that Hulk's going to be the main villain of the movie, but it's also being reported by multiple sources that he won't be the only main villain of the movie, because not only do we know Mr. Negative's supposed to be in it, but little rumor coming out right now is that Michael Mando is reportedly in talks to return as Scorpion in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Again, he was teased at the end of Homecoming as Mac Gargan. He has not been Scorpion yet, but it looks like he will be returning as that. And obviously, from that same Disney merchandise thing where we've heard that the Hulk will be in the movie, according to another attendee from the Disney merchandise show, the characters of Tarantula will appear as a villain in Spider-Man Brand New Day, while other villains reported to be featured in the film include Scorpion, Boomerang, and Tombstone. So, obviously, other than Scorpion, most of these guys are all like C-listed, D-listed Spider-Man villains. So I very much wonder if and I think it would be very smart, is if the first 10 minutes of the movie are what the OG Spider-Man 4 was originally going to be with Tobey Maguire, and that is Spider-Man actually taking down some C-listed and D-listed villains, just showing us what Spider-Man has been doing, over the last couple years. Again, I think this film, it's probably going to take place a couple years after No Way Home. I mean, I don't even know what year No Way Home takes place. I think it's 2026 or something. Let's just say it is that, right? This film will probably take place in 2028 of him in his really early struggles and him struggling that no one knows him. He's got no friends, all of the above, and that he just wants to be Spider-Man. I think that's what it's going to be. His life as Peter Parker sucks and he just wants to be Spider-Man. And the first 10 minutes are probably going to be showing him taking down all these villains, such as Tombstone, such as Scorpion, Boomerang, Tarantula, whoever the hell that is. I don't even know who that freaking is, right? And of course, maybe the next 10 minutes is showing how shit and how crappy his life is, of course, as Peter Parker. So I think that'd be a really awesome start to the film, a really awesome contrast that would get us back into the Spider-Man movies and back into this new trilogy of films that I think are all taking place in college, it looks like. But yeah, I think the movie will start off with him taking on the 4 villains, and then I'm going to assume that the side villains will, of course, be Martin Lee, who maybe by the end of the film becomes Mr. Negative. Maybe Black Cat will be a side villain. But I think the main villain will be Hulk. And it will be a vicious Hulk. At least I hope it to be. And I saw a little rumor online that actually said that Professor Hulk would be one of the professors at Spider-Man's college, and it would actually be teaching him in a class. And of course, Professor Hulk wouldn't know him. So that's a really cool thing. And then I also saw something else. So maybe if he becomes normal Hulk again, Hulk will of course remember Spider-Man being Peter Parker, which we know is a little slide from the comics. I think they could 100% add, and I think that would be very interesting. So I wonder if they'll go down that direction of having Professor Hulk be his be his college teacher, college professor, and then eventually we get to see Hulk, nice Hulk saying, "I remember you, Peter Parker." Him being the only one to remember that Spider-Man is still Peter, which is directly from the comics. Or if they're going to go down the different direction of what these reports are saying, and Hulk is going to be the main villain of the film, and he's going to be vicious and angry and mean and green again. So I'm wondering if that's how they're going to go. I think that'd be very interesting. So we'll definitely have to wait and see. There's rumors this movie is going to be getting freaking delayed, so I'll have to talk about that in a different video. But again, outside of Hulk being kind of leaked as, you know, one of the big villains of the movie, it does seem to be, it is being reported that Nicole Kidman is being eyed to play the female villain in Spider-Man Brand New Day. According to insider MTTSH, Nicole Kidman is being eyed to play the female villain in Spider-Man Brand New Day. It was previously reported that Marvel Studios were casting for a dark, mysterious female character with a Japanese-inspired look. Now, a lot of people have gone to the comments on these type of posts that have been talking about this, saying, why are they casting a white character for a white actor for a Japanese character? But as you can see, this is not saying it's a Japanese character. It is saying a Japanese inspired look. And I mean, the report of, you know, them kind of talking about these Asian characters, I think are really starting to come out. I think most of them are true. Again, the Brand New Day, of course, comic series does actually introduce Martin Lee, Mr. Negative, of course, an Asian villain in the Spider-Man universe, who happens to be pretty much my favorite Spider-Man villain. Again, he's said to be in this movie. We know as well the director of this film is actually Asian himself, and of course directed Shang-Chi, which had a main variety of actors who were of course Asian. So I think he's definitely actually taking influence from a lot of different things for this film, and it looks like, again, we're going to be getting a Japanese inspired look for the other villain of this film outside of Mr. Negative, and we're going to be getting it in a female character. Now, I don't know who this is. This is very strange to me, especially considering Nicole Kidman is a lot older than a lot of the actors who have been thrown around for a lot of the different roles that we've heard so far. Again, she's definitely not going to be a love interest, I wouldn't assume, for Peter Parker, Spider-Man. I don't think so, unless they've got this Peter going and targeting MILFs or something, I don't know. So that automatically rules out any Black Cat talk that I've also been seeing online. I mean, Japanese look doesn't really sound too much like Black Cat. I honestly don't know who this character is supposed to be, and there's been like 897 different theories about what is potentially going on here, and I, to be honest, really don't know. So it is interesting. Nicole Kidman is a actor I wouldn't have thought they would have been targeting, but here we are, and that is what's going on there. Again, as we know, touching on Mr. Negative, that sounds really inappropriate now that I think about it. Going back to Mr. Negative, who I just previously mentioned, as we know, he is supposed to be in the movie, and it looks like they are currently casting for him right now. Again, one of the commonly targeted actors by a lot of fans who people would love to be in the movie does actually happen to be Steven Yeun, who is reported that he's being eyed for the role of, you know, potentially Mr. Negative. It is being said by a couple different reports that he's actually just eyed for a role in general. So considering there's supposed to be a bunch of different characters in this film, I wonder if that is the plot twist, is he actually might get hired for this film, and we all think he's playing Mr. Negative, and he's actually not. He might be playing a different character. Again, Chameleon was actually reported a month or so ago that he might potentially be in this film, and I actually think he would be a really cool actor to play him. Again, Daniel Wu is also reportedly in talks to potentially be playing Mr. Negative in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Don't really know much about Daniel Wu, but I think he's predominantly been in a lot of Asian movies, and I think over the last 10 years or so, I could be very wrong on this, has been transitioning to much more English movies, which, again, he seems to actually be a really popular actor, and a lot of the support online has been there for him. So I think it could be one that a lot of people are interested in. It says, according to Reacted Spider, there are some rumors about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Daniel Wu is apparently the front runner for Mr. Negative, but no final decision yet. Pen Zhang, known for Shang-Chi's choreography, will also handle the action of the film. So again, looks like Destin Daniel Cretton is, of course, staying really in-house with this. So again, the villains are going to be really interesting to see who they go with, because we've heard rumors on absolutely everyone. We've got the Hulk, Chameleon, Mr. Negative, whoever the hell freaking Nicole Kidman is apparently potentially playing. I don't even know what's going on there, but it looks like this film will have a ton of villains in it, and I think that has got people a little bit scared and people a little bit curious on how that is going to work, especially considering we've seen a Spider-Man movie like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 have a ton of villains and really not be able to handle them, not being able to build these characters up and give them a good enough backstory in the limited screen time they have to actually please fans. Again, I think that movie obviously had Electro, like a little Goblin Jr. thing. Rhino was in that film. They teased a bunch of other different people. Again, I think in the MCU though, they have really proven they have been able to handle a ton of different characters. And I wouldn't be surprised if, I've mentioned this before, the start of the movie is actually what the original Spider-Man 4 was supposed to be with Tobey Maguire, and that is Spider-Man actually taking down a bunch of the C and D level type of villains and having kind of like a montage type of thing of that, just showing what Spider-Man has been doing the last couple years since the last movie. So again, I don't know if they would look at someone like a Nicole Kidman, such a big and well-known actor, to play such a small role. That would probably be a couple minutes of screen time. But in again, we've seen weirder things with Marvel. I think Brad Pitt played the invisible vanishing man or whatever in Deadpool 2 and was in it for like 5 seconds. I mean, shit, if Brad Pitt can do that, maybe that's what they're planning on doing with like Nicole Kidman. Again, I don't think so. I don't know. But yeah, I think that is how the film could very well start. And then after that, it will show what his life is like as Peter Parker, which I think will be much more depressing, especially considering no one knows who he is. No one remembers who he is, other than the Hulk, which is another reason the Hulk could actually be really cool in this movie, is because the Hulk is one of the only people who still remember that Spider-Man is still Peter Parker. And we saw that in the comics, that he, I think, was one of the only ones who the spell actually didn't work on. So that would be interesting if we had that scene of Hulk saying that he remembers Peter. Again, there's supposed to be a ton of different villains in this movie. A lot of Asian theme type of characters as well. Of course, Mr. Negative, whatever the hell they're cooking with Nicole Kidman, apparently Japanese style character. But it looks like Destin Daniel Cretton is really taking from Shang-Chi and putting that in Spider-Man, which I actually really love, because the first Spider-Man game with Mr. Negative is one of the most peak video games of all time. One of my all-time favorite games, probably top 5 for me, obviously, and really made Mr. Negative pretty much my all-time favorite Spider-Man villain. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this in the movie. I really trust the director that they're going to be able to handle it. I just don't know how Hulk comes into play with all this, and that's the part that I'm still really confused about. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all does unfold. Again, I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions down below on the villains of this movie. Nicole Kidman, what's happening there? Mr. Negative, Martin Lee, who's going to be playing him? Will he be in the movie like the leaks are saying? Again, could Chameleon be played by an Asian actor as well if he's in it, in maybe Steven Yeun? Again, definitely let me know your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Subscribe to my sports channel, which will also be getting linked down below. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.